Barbarians are on the march one last time. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to some more Divide et Impera. This is one of the final battles in the head-to-head between me and Republic of Play, and it was one hell of an engagement. We have roughly around about 14,000 soldiers, and this is Germania, which is the faction that Darren is playing, going up against one of my AI allies. So the war has started. I'm basically destroyed at this point just from the AI from Rome and the Lusitani kind of getting eaten from within. However, Darren has come in to kind of slice the final life thread that I have and finish this one off by killing my vassal, well, not my vassals, my allies. And they're fighting back. They have a pretty large army, so I think I can't actually see, unfortunately, because of the way it is set up. But yeah, Darren has around about 7,200 men, and me playing as VAI, who you can't see quite yet, I think I have around about 6,900 men. So just a slightly bit outnumbered, but I have a heavy focus on infantry. Darren has a roundabout, I think, 6 units of cavalry. I only have 2, but my cavalry is extremely heavy Gallic melee cavalry, whereas Darren does have a handful of these kind of light and medium melee cav, and also some skirmisher cavalry. So kind of, you know, my only having 2 units sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And obviously, you know, I didn't get to pick my army. I just kind of get given what the AI has, but the AI does have a really decent army, or at least an army that can hold long enough for me to do what I want to do. That is for sure. So we are taking a look at this battle from Darren's point of view as his secondary army does come onto the field. And he's going to kind of move up and take this tree line, which is very, very smart. Pushing up here is going to be a really useful position. And soon enough, you should start to see my army coming into view, as you can see. Yeah, because I was stupid enough to forget this replay, to save this replay. Because, yeah, it was a really good battle, so I was just hyped after it, and I completely forgot to save it. So we're seeing it from Darren's point of view this time. But I'll be able to talk. It's even better at seeing it from Darren's point of view, because then I can say kind of what I'm thinking from his point of view. So he's throwing up his cavalry right away, basically just to scout these woodland areas, which again is really, really important, because both of us playing Barbarian factions, we have a lot of guerrilla deployment units that can deploy outside the deployment zone. So just combing these woods for any ambushes is obviously a really good idea, and that's exactly what this skirmisher cavalry is used for. You know, they're used for this kind of scouting maneuver, and he's basically just seeing where my entire force is. Right now, I'm just forming up because, you know, there's a lot of men, right? We're commanding 40 units apiece, especially with, like, I've never used half of these units, so I don't know how good they are. So I'm just taking my time to really get used to them. My front line is going to consist of these naked spearmen. They're not quite naked, but thank God for that, otherwise I'd be banned off of YouTube. And they're actually relatively good, surprisingly. I think if you take a look at the stats, they actually have pretty high melee defense, 12 melee defense. Their morale is really high as well. 80 morale is crazy good. It's just obviously they have 10 armor, so if Darren can get his Germanic hunters onto them, they're going to melt before you even say the word melt. Literally, they will just, you know, dissipate. And again, I have shown some more of these guys, light melee infantry. I don't really have a lot of these heavy hitters, at least on my front line in mass. I have this kind of one elite squadron right here of these Germanic berserkers, which are Germanic berserker mercenaries, which have 27 armor piercing, which is an insane number. But once again, only 10 armor, so my army is very susceptible to being shot to pieces, and that's something I really, as soon as we engage, I want to try and nullify, because I think Darren does have a ton of missiles back here. Yeah, you can see there's an entire line here. Well, there's about 9 archer units here, plus obviously all the javelins for his units as well. He's going to have, you know, heavy melee infantry on the center. Again, only 27 armor on these guys for his front line, but you don't really need it when, you know, I don't really have a lot of stuff that can take them out. Over on this right-hand flank, he does have his super heavy mercenary spear band, and these guys actually do have a lot of armor, 70 armor. You can see in the bottom left. So these guys are going to be a very good defensible kind of anchor for this right flank, and he's backing them up with just some more infantry, which are maybe less quality, but can still do output a lot of damage. And then right at the back, he has some more of these guys as well. And I really like the way Darren has set up his formation. He's kind of got, you know, his reserve line back there. He's got kind of anchoring his flanks pretty heavily. And this is definitely something I've noticed Darren does a lot in our, you know, multiple bouts from these head-to-heads, is he loves to heavily anchor one flank. and kind of go off of that. So as you can see right now, he's stockpiled 6 units here with a couple units that can quickly support if he needs to really thrust his power over. And then over on his left flank, he has kind of, still 3 units of really good spearmen here, and then also some, heavy infantry that can back up. Like these guys right here are pretty scary. Some more of these proven spears with a 33 morale. But yeah, nowhere near as heavy as this flank whatsoever. And he's also got 4 units of cavalry over in this woodland, and then the 3 over in the other side, which is, going to be pretty scary for me, because these barbarian units aren't necessarily the strong. I say that though, but these guys do have 80 bloody morale. These guys even have, how the hell do these guys have such high morale? That's insane. But then again, like a lot of my, besides these naked spear throwers, no one else has that high morale. And yeah, like a lot of these light guys have 60 morale. So if he can get his cavalry into the rear of my position and start hammering and ambling, my entire battle line is just going to crumble. Because the thing is, I need to keep a line in the back to prevent him from hammering and ambling, because that cavalry will just rip me apart. And what he can do is he can sacrifice a unit of cavalry to make it so that the rest of his cavalry can get in. Because all he needs is one big break, and then his infantry can come rushing through. I mean, I guess these boys just don't care. That's why they're naked. They're brave warriors, and that's why the morale is so high on them. That's insane, but 90 morale is really good for barbarians, especially with a faction that is just AI controlled, that I'm jumping in as. So we can see the army moving up, 6,000, basically 7,000 angry Frenchmen moving forward. Or maybe these could be Belgians. I'm not sure what faction this actually was. I think it's along the Maginot Line is whereabouts these guys are. But either way, they're going to be pushing up. And again, I have a lot of missiles of my own. You can't actually see my archer line, but I think I have roughly the same amount of missiles as Darren has, if not maybe 1 extra archer unit. And something I've definitely learned is that the Gallic bowmen are devastating. All the barbarian archers can just do so much damage. They're extremely vulnerable to missiles themselves, but if they can just constantly output damage, they can just shred. Is actually pretty disgusting. So for my battle line, I've set myself up in a kind of a 3-pronged defense. I've got my front line of these light melee infantry, the naked swordsmen. Then I've got my archer line kind of situated behind them. You can't see them all because they're hidden at the moment. Then I've got a spear line backing them up, and then I have my final reserve line here of my heavy infantry in the rear. Basically what I'm going to do with that final reserve line is I'm basically going to try and run it through these spearmen and then leave the spearmen at the back to guard this. I also have 5 more units of light spearmen as well, because I'm just so scared of that cavalry. We've fought many battles in this head-to-head, and every time I've been at such a huge cavalry disadvantage. But it has gone ahead and allowed me to really get the hang of how to deal with it if I have the right units. Because sometimes you don't, but this time I have a lot of kind of crappy spearmen that can screen. And here we go. Darren's archers are going to open up this fight, and I'm going to immediately dive into a sprint, because I just know if this fire racks up, I'm going to end up losing half my front line. I just need to get these guys, these brave naked boys, into melee as soon as possible, because that's the only way of stopping Darren's missile fire. And you can already see we are dropping in our droves right now. It maybe wouldn't be a bad idea to have pushed up maybe some of my spearmen, my second line of spearmen maybe forward to cover this, but and now we're going to be taking the javelin fire as well. Oh, that's so brutal, losing tens of men in each of the units. It's going to be pretty brutal. I'm obviously going to get my javelin throw back, and now my archers are in range. And this was actually pretty important at this battle. Darren is obviously seizing the opportunity to shoot at my lightly armored infantry. You can see them melting. This unit has already lost 80 men. I'm sure my other units as well are dropping like flies. This unit's lost 60 men. It's going to be the same all the way down the battle line. I'm going to make sure I get my javelin throws out though, because I want to try and do as much damage to his infantry as possible. But what I'm doing is I'm targeting all of my missiles right now onto his archers. I know that his archers can just do serious damage, but I know they die very quickly. And you can already see we're playing on slow-mo, but this unit after 4 or 5 volleys is very close to breaking already. And obviously, he's busy focusing down my front line. So, you know, if I can just take down all these missiles, then it gives me free reign to basically dominate this entire area. You can kind of see right now where my missile line is. It's kind of just where his line of archers is. So if I can dominate that area, that's going to give me great zoning for his generals to stay away. It's going to give me great zoning for his reinforcements coming in. And, you know, a lot more stuff. You can see I've just about to break 3 units of his archers. You know, that's a third of his missile force just gone like that. And obviously, I've seen the pain, but like his archers didn't go unscathed though. He did trade a lot of my frontal infantry, and that's forcing me to have to throw up my heavy spears into combat to basically just withstand this and try and kind of push this back. So the infantry lines are going to kick off, and Darren is going to commit his infantry to the front lines, and it's going to be scary. You know, this front line is very, very strong. I have managed to basically get my berserkers though into the woodland, again, pretty much unscathed. The archer fire was so focused on my front line that these guys have managed to kind of get in. I mean, look how sick that looks as a battle is just going off from the distance. That looks great, man. So my berserkers, my 4 kind of core berserkers, are going to get into this woodland and actually be able to start doing some serious damage. And right now, you can see Darren is kind of using his flanks now to try and get around, try and create awkward formations for me and open gaps. But I'm standing firm. In this battle, I actually had a pretty decent front line. Relatively, you know, they'll stand and just stay alive for a little while. So because of that, you know, I can afford to leave units back. Normally what happens is, you know, my front line ends up breaking and I have to start pushing my reserves in, which means there's nothing to stop his cavalry from running amok. Because right now, you know, there's 2 units here, 2 units there, and then 3 skirmishers over here as well. And it's just super scary because, you know, there's very little I can do. So right now, I'm just going to basically form my, I say a mobile noob box, but I have to, because any rear charge, he gets onto my archers, they mass rout instantly, you know, he gets into my front line, these guys start to break, and it's pretty scary. And right now, my archers are the only way I win this battle, because eventually his superior infantry, you know, is going to cut through me. These guys don't look it, but they are actually very devastating. 9 melee attack. But their morale is just god awful. 37 morale on them is, yeah, very embarrassing for any unit. I think even I in a battle would have more than 37 morale, if I do say so myself. But they're backed up with like guys like this who are, you know, super scary, very heavy melee infantry. And again, we can take a look at their stats. 99, 61 weapon damage, which is huge, and 50 morale is okay. Stuff like that is going to chew through, but it's going to take a while to do so, and I just need to try and stay alive. And keep this cavalry away. If this cavalry breaks through, the battle is over. You can see I'm situating a general over here and a general over there. And Darren is going to be quite gung-ho with this cavalry. He's going to charge it in, just try and break through. You know, I do only have light spears here, so there is a, you know, definite possibility that I will break through. But I think his main plan here, oh yeah, he also takes a javelin throw as well, which is pretty scary actually. You know, he takes a javelin throw from all 3 of these units, which does rack up some damage onto these horses. But yeah, you know, like what he's trying to do is he's trying to draw my infantry in here so that it creates other gaps. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to commit my general and maybe 1 other spear unit over here and just try and keep this at bay. You know, he's done his initial charge. You can see he did 40 damage to, or 40 casualties to this unit on the charge. So, you know, his thinking is very good. He only lost a handful of, you know, horses, like 40 horses in total out of 240. So overall, a pretty decent one. But my general's going to get stuck in there. My general is very heavy Golic Shuck melee cavalry, so they're very effective. Yuzzel's going to come off here as well, get a nice charge off. Again, this is skirmisher cavalry. It's not going to be able to really do too well, and I think I just notice it now, and you'll see my men immediately start to click in. So he did get a nice charge off on me there, managing to take down like 11 of my horses right off the bat, and then he's going to throw in more whilst attacking basically down the entire battle line. So a really nice move there by Darren. As you can see, I managed to break through in the center slowly, but I don't really have anything to chase off, and my front line is looking a little bit wavy, you know. There's a lot of yellow dots. You can see the morale right there. The front line is getting close to breaking at half strength, or just over half strength. But my berserkers are working away in the forest, which is so huge. Getting these guys in unscathed is nice because they just have such high stats. Again, we'll take a look at them. 9 melee attack, 10 melee defense, from that huge weapon damage and armor pen. They're basically a perfect unit for taking out heavy armor targets, which these guys kind of are. 70 armor, so it's a perfect matchup for my guys. However, he's going to be able to outflank me, but at this point, I have nothing else to really commit. Some of his cavalry just throwing in javelins. Again, a really nice matchup for Darren on that side. And he's going to try and pull out his cavalry now. He has broken, a handful of my battle lines. However, I've managed to rout these guys as they try and pull out. Their low morale is coming in really poorly. And yeah, I can actually chase these guys down and try and finish them off. And at this point, I'm like, hell yeah, I've managed to kill some of his medium melee cavalry. He does still have a buttload left, but I'm turning around my missiles because at this point I've killed the majority of his archers. He only has 2 units of archers and maybe one that came back, so these guys will deal with that. And the rest of my archers will turn around and try and pick off a few more horsemen, try and bring them down, because I still have my general unit. I still have a bunch of spears guarding my back. But again, as you can see, my front line, I am losing men. His superior infantry is just outweighing me. They are stronger just in general in his army. However, my archers are winning the day. My berserkers are engaged. I couldn't ask for anything more. And I'm whittling down his cavalry as well. And I see he's going to go over here. He's going to try and go all in for my generals. If he can kill my generals, my army just breaks, right? So he's going to try and move over here. But I have a lot of spearmen, so I'm going to try and screen and say, if you want to go in for this battle, we can go in for this battle. And I also have to be really, really careful, because if Darren, he can commit 2 units here, I commit all my spearmen, and then he just completely outmaneuvers me. Once again, I'm going to be able to get a really nice charge off here onto some of his light skirmisher cavalry, and these guys will just melt. Luckily, he managed to get the main unit of light missile cavalry out and just kind of stick me with his melee cavalry. But for the most part, he is kind of in a hard situation. My general is also in a pretty bad situation, up against 3 units of cavalry. But I can, once he deploys all these horses, I can come in and help out as well. My archers are again finishing off a few more men. And I see his general. His general comes so close to the battle line. And he's in vision as well. But I'm just going to pick him off with my archers. Darren left my archers alive. And I'm just going to send 1 unit to start shooting him. And he's just going to rout from the field. Because I think he was wounded. I think he was down to half strength before. So all it took was a handful of volleys. And now his general is, he flew too close to the sun. Which was really bad. And, even though I am taking casualties on my general, I'm going to commit some more spearmen. I'm going to try and screen in case Darren tries to run away his cavalry like this, and then come in. And I'm going to bring over more archers. My front line is just about holding. We can see that, but it's getting very, very close to breaking pretty heavily. You can see over here, Gap might have performed. I'm getting heavily outsmacked on this flank as well. If you take a look at it, there's 3 units of spearmen right now going up against 1 unit of mine, and we're steady. So if this collapses, which it definitely could, and if this collapses, my entire flank is just going to break and Darren's going to come flying forward. Also, again, if this line breaks as well, that's going to be catastrophic. And he still has 4 units of horses left remaining. I've got kind of 1 unit. I'm just going to basically tighten up my formation. If we take a look at the battle once again, I'm just going to pull this box a little bit further in and kind of be like, come on, bring it. If you want to throw in your general, your cavalry again, let's do it. I'm kind of giving up hope on my berserkers. Like, these guys, there's nothing really that they can do now. Just stay alive and keep him as busy for as long as possible. That's all I can rely for them to do. And we just have to hope that they can achieve that whilst I'm doing stuff elsewhere. Because my archers can now, you can see they're changing focus quite heavily. And I've also opened up a bit of a flank here as well, actually. Which I didn't notice. The woodland, like, really, you can see I can barely see it. The flag-wise, which is how it should be. It's a forest battle after all, which is really effective. So right now, I'm using my cavalry just to try and hammer and anvil. I really wanted to try and break this flank because my infantry were under a lot of pressure, but I'm not going to be able to achieve that, so I'm going to pull back. And as you can see, Banter Power is very much in favor of Darren right now. He has the superior infantry grinding away slowly. He does manage to get a unit of cavalry through, but I'm going to just try my best to blockade it, and he does pull back, so it's a really nice screen by me. I'm going to take that. But this right flank is just crumbling under the pressure, and oh no, there it goes! That flank goes, and all of a sudden, this infantry is so close to breaking. And again, if we just go in slow-mo really quickly, just look at how much infantry has just been freed up. That's 5 units of infantry here, just been freed up, and maybe another 2 more units. So I'm just going to try and pull everything back. Luckily, I have some reserves, and as my box gets smaller, these reserves can cover more distance. So I'm going to push these guys in. I managed to get this unit of spearmen to cover against this cavalry, and this unit of swords to come in once again and try and stop his horsemen. I'm also going to get a really nice charge off here against Darren's light missile cavalry. And again, this light missile cavalry can't take this. It really struggles when a charge like this comes in. And that's going to be huge for me. Again, wiping away this cavalry unit is just so big. Darren only has 3 units of these horses left because I think he has another one over in this battle trying to kill my skirmishers somewhere. I'm pretty sure the other cavalry in his 4 were over there. And this entire time, I'm just trying to pick away at his cavalry. Once again, you know, there you go. That's another unit of cavalry taken away in this battle, which is huge. So at this point, I've got 2 units of cavalry. Darren has 2 units of cavalry. I can use my general units to basically just engage these guys and go mano a mano, you know. Even though my right flank has completely collapsed and now 7 units coming into my flank, this is really, really good for me. Really, really good for me. But now I can start to bring all my reserves in because I don't have to worry about the cavalry coming in anymore. I have the mobility, you know, surprisingly. My superior cavalry, even though heavily outnumbered, can now, and again, I think Darren was just busy in the center. I get such a nice charge there and basically break this unit on the charge. All of a sudden, I have the cavalry advantage. His infantry are causing me a lot of issues, and as you can see, my center's now broken. But having the cavalry advantage goes a long way. And I just need my center to hold. You can see so many of my units are close to breaking. That is catastrophic. And again, this unit of berserkers out here are holding back a large portion of Darren's army, but they're doing the Lord's work on that left flank. And I don't really have much left, but neither does Darren. The last of my reserves are going in. And again, my archers, man. These archers are insane, are just picking away casualties. Again, the balance of power hasn't really shifted whatsoever. You know, I am being a bit outmatched, but having cavalry, you'll see how important it is, at least, because again, it's not about winning this battle, it's all about doing as much damage as possible, because, you know, it's a head-to-head, so Darren has to go ahead and replenish these losses, he has to build new units, spend money, so yeah, as I said, it's not about kills, it's about killing as much as possible, or not about winning, sorry, it's about killing as much as possible, and here we go, I get a really nice charge into his archers, I managed to break away these guys, because also as well, something to really think about as well, is that, you know, units get experience, and when they replenish, they lose experience because fresh units are coming in, so by killing people in a unit as well, you whittle away at their experience gain, which again, adds up massively in head-to-heads, and right now, my cavalry is just ripping apart this infantry. I'm going to throw in cavalry charge after cavalry charge. I need to be really careful, though, because my general is down to 56 men, and I've had my generals die, you know, way before this, you know, and 70 men before. So if my general dies, it's all over. And as you can see, the advanced power is kind of shifting back into the medium, but Darren can rally this if he can maybe get a kill on my general or break me in the center. These cavalry charges going in are just so important. They need to win here. They need to break this unit. So this will free up so many of my units. And if I can break these guys, that just does so much. And that's exactly what I now can do. So now I can push up against this unit in the center here. I can throw this cavalry elsewhere, and I can even send men, you know, to the front line as well. But as you can see, like all my archers are engaged right now. I'm losing positions everywhere. You can see right here as well, Darren has managed to, you know, break through once again in the center. His superior infantry coming in absolutely massive. And at this point, I'm still not even sure if I'm going to win, so I'm just trying to get a couple extra cheeky kills here before throwing myself in. I've managed to get a nice little envelopment in the woods here, just again having a unit spare on this side. And at this point, I'm just trying to break his army. A mass rout is huge at this point. It really is, especially with the balance of power the way it is. And as you can see, I'm getting cavalry charges coming in. Darren's trying to screen here, but I just need to try and break as many units as possible. And there you go, units are starting to break across the board, and it's looking very, very good for me all of a sudden, especially in the center, especially with these cavalry charges coming in. And yeah, I'm going to be able to get a nice rear charge off here, and that's basically going to end the battle. And I mean, what an insane battle that was. Considering I was pretty, you know, I would say it was a very close battle in odds, but Darren definitely had the advantage. But being able to nullify his cavalry was huge, and then actually having a front line that didn't break. Like his front line would have, you know, outgrinded me eventually. Because they stayed alive, it allowed me to do so much other stuff. You know, it allowed me to get my berserkers engaged. It allowed my archers to shoot his archers, which was huge. Killing his archers and then allowing my archers to shoot throughout the entire battle, I think won me that engagement. If my archers were dead, there's no way I would have won that, because you'll see at the end how many kills they got. You know, it's like 200, 300 kills a piece, which is massive. You know, if he times that across 7 units, that's like a third of Darren's army, almost. You know, really is crazy. Also, looking back at the battle as well, Darren definitely did commit his cavalry a bit too early when I was boxing. He should have tried to have, just let his infantry push forward a bit more, make me kind of create my own gaps. But, you know, again, if he would have managed to break through there and killed my archers, the battle would have been completely over. And Darren does try to pull out his last unit, but I'm going to be able to catch it. And there you go. Costly enemy victory. I was the enemy in this battle. And, you know, it was a sweet, you know, a little sweet at the end of this brutal head-to-head. And as you can see, look at that. My general unit, 500 kills. Again, a lot of them probably came towards the end. But this front line did amazing. My berserkers didn't even do that good. It was the archers, you know, for 273 kills, 180 kills. And the spearmen holding firm in the center. And actually doing a surprisingly good job. I think these guys were the ones on the right flank, so they were fighting kind of maybe his weak. Yeah, these are the guys on my right flank, and these were, so you can see my guys matching up against the flank that Darren anchored himself on was pretty hard. But the flank he didn't anchor on, I kind of came out on top very nicely. And then for Darren again, like his archers did do really good, the ones that survived, but I just killed them really quickly. All of his front line doing an amazing job. And yeah, his cavalry just couldn't quite commit and get him stuck in. But for the most part, we lost fairly similar amounts. That was a very close battle. Only killing like 1,000 more men isn't that great in an engagement like this. So yeah, super close indeed. And it's just an awesome battle. We're going to have one more, the final siege battle. I'll go ahead and bring on the channel probably in a week or two. Or no, probably a couple of days, probably the beginning of next week. You'll see the final battle that we had to finish it off, and it was a really good siege battle. So yeah, that's going to be basically it for the head-to-head now. We are planning on probably starting a new one in a couple weeks time. We were thinking of maybe doing Carthage, and the Seleucids could be kind of fun, but we're always open to ideas. If you guys have a good idea for a good matchup for the next head-to-head, go ahead and leave it down below in the comments. Drop a like on this video if you're enjoying the head-to-head, or if you're just enjoying these battles, and I'll see you guys in the next one.